we travel around a circle, we will be in Morningside Heights. Morningside Heights is a neighborhood of the borough of Manhattan and is chiefly known as the home of institutions, churches, hospitals, and parks. Morningside Park is a New York City public park. The 30-acre area occupies 110th to 123rd Streets from Morningside Avenue to Morningside Drive at the border between Harlem and Morningside Heights. Its distinctive natural geography is the rugged cliff of Manhattan schist rock. The park came into existence as a cost-saving measure to avoid the expense of extending the street grids across difficult terrain. The park is one of several promoted by Andrew Haswell Green that owes much of its design to Frederick Law Olmsted and Calvert Vaux. 20th century additions include playgrounds, basketball courts, and softball diamonds. Morningside Park was the focus of the famous Columbia University protests of 1968. The university planned to build a gymnasium on the park as a joint project with the city. Protesters believed that the planned separate east and west entrances amounted to an attempt to circumvent recent federal law that banned racially segregated facilities. The distinctive local geography and demographics would have opened one end of the gymnasium to African American Harlem residents and opened the other end to the predominantly white university. University administration under Grayson Kirk denied that this reflected racial bias and stressed that greater park services would benefit the Harlem community. The university abandoned the plan after students occupied administration and classroom buildings and shut down the university for several weeks. The Cathedral of St. John the Divine, officially the Cathedral Church of St. John the Divine in the City and Diocese of New York, is the Cathedral of the Episcopal Diocese of New York. Located at 1047 Amsterdam Avenue between West 110th Street, which is also known as Cathedral Parkway, and 113th Street in Manhattan's Morningside Heights. The cathedral is claimed to be the largest cathedral and Anglican church and fourth largest Christian church in the world, although the title is disputed with Liverpool Anglican Cathedral. The inside covers more than half a city block with 121,000 square feet, spanning a length of 601 feet and a height of 232 feet. The inside height of the nave is 124 feet. The cathedral is nicknamed St. John the Unfinished. The cathedral, designed in 1888 and begun in 1892, has in its history undergone radical stylistic changes and the interruption of the two world wars. Originally designed as Byzantine Romanesque, the plan was changed after 1909 to a Gothic design. After a large fire on December 18, 2001, it was closed for repairs and reopened in November 2008. It remains unfinished, with construction and restoration a continuing process. Although the organ was not damaged, its pipe chambers had to be removed and cleaned to prevent damage from the fire's accumulated soot. Valuable tapestries and other items in the cathedral were damaged by the smoke. On the grounds of the cathedral, towards the south, are several buildings, including a synod hall and a cathedral school, and a biblical garden, as well as a large bronze work of public art by the cathedral sculptor-in-residence, Greg Wyatt, known as the Peace Fountain, which has been both strongly praised and strongly criticized. St. Luke's Roosevelt Hospital Center is a 1,076-bed, full-service community and tertiary care hospital serving New York City's Midtown West, Upper West Side, and parts of Harlem. Its two hospital components, which merged operations in 1979, are nearly 50 blocks apart on Manhattan's West Side. St. Luke's Hospital, including Women's Hospital at 114th Street and Amsterdam Avenue, a Level 1 trauma center. Roosevelt Hospital at 59th Street and 10th Avenue, a Level 2 trauma center. St. Luke's was founded by William Augustus Muhlenberg, pastor of the Episcopal Church of the Holy Communion. St. Luke's first opened in 1858 at 54th Street and 5th Avenue. In 1896, it moved to 114th Street. It is across the street to the east from Columbia University's campus, and to the south it is flanked by the Cathedral of St. John the Divine. The emergency departments of both sides, staffed by 40 physicians board certified in emergency medicine and 7 in pediatric emergency medicine, offer 24-hour specialized services for victims of sexual assaults. Both New York City emergency rooms have a 24-hour stroke team and heart attack team. The St. Luke's emergency room has a 24-hour on-call cardiac catheterization lab for patients having heart attacks to immediately open up the clogged arteries. Roosevelt Emergency Room is notable for being the site of John Lennon's death. Tom's Restaurant is a diner located at 2880 Broadway on the corner of 112th Street in Morningside Heights. Tom's Restaurant was the locale of Suzanne Vega's 1987 song, Tom's Diner. Later, its exterior was used as a stand-in for the fictional Monk's Cafe in the popular television sitcom Seinfeld, where comedian Jerry Seinfeld's character and his friends regularly gathered to eat. The interior, however, looked very little like the fictional monks, as indoor scenes were filmed on a set in California resembling the Broadway diner between 101st and 102nd Streets. Early Seinfeld episodes showed the entire neon sign. Later, allegedly, to avoid royalties, the Tom's portion was cropped out, showing only the restaurant wraparound. General Grant National Memorial, better known as Grant's Tomb, is a mausoleum containing the bodies of Ulysses S. Grant, 1822 to 1885, American Civil War general and 18th President of the United States, and his wife Julia Dent Grant, 1826 to 1902. The tomb complex is a presidential memorial in the Morningside Heights neighborhood of Manhattan. The structure is situated in a prominent location in Riverside Park overlooking the Hudson River. The granite and marble structure was designed by architect John Duncan and completed in 1897. The National Park Service maintains that it is the largest mausoleum in North America. Over 1 million people attended Grant's funeral parade in 1885. It was 7 miles long and featured Confederate and Union generals riding together in an open victorias. U.S. President Grover Cleveland, his cabinet, all the justices of the Supreme Court, and virtually the entire Congress. The parade for the dedication ceremony of the tomb, held April 27, 1897, the 75th anniversary of Grant's birth, was almost as large and was headed by President William McKinley. New York City was chosen as the burial site so that Mrs. Grant could visit frequently, and because Grant was grateful to New Yorkers for the outpouring of affection during his later years. The Riverside Church in the city of New York is an interdenominational American Baptist and United Church of Christ church in Morningside Heights. Famous not only for its elaborate Gothic architecture, which includes the world's largest tuned carillon bell, but also as a center for the promotion and progressive causes. The tallest church in the United States and the 26th tallest in the world. It was described by the New York Times in 2008 as a stronghold of activism and political debate throughout its 75-year history, influential on the nation's religious and political landscapes. The church received New York City landmark status in 2000. Modeled after Chartres Cathedral in France, Riverside Church remains not only an important landmark for tourists, but also an important center for lively political discussion. Past speakers at the pulpit have included Martin Luther King Jr., voicing opposition to the Vietnam War, Nelson Mandela on his first visit to the United States after being released from prison, Fidel Castro during one of his rare visits to the U.S. in 1999, and Secretary General of the United Nations Kofi Annan after the September 11, 2001 attacks. Columbia University is a private university in the United States and a member of the Ivy League. Columbia's main campus lies in the Morningside Heights neighborhood in the borough of Manhattan. It was founded in 1754 as King's College by royal charter of George II of Great Britain, and is one of the only 2 United States universities to have been founded under such authority. Columbia is the oldest institution of higher learning in the state of New York and is the 5th oldest in the United States, making it one of the country's 9 colonial colleges founded before the American Revolution. After the American Revolutionary War, it was briefly chartered as a state entity from 1784 to 1787. The university now operates under a 1787 charter that places the institution under a private board of trustees. Columbia annually awards the Pulitzer Prizes and is one of the founding members of the Association of American Universities. More Nobel Prize winners have been affiliated with Columbia than with any other institution in the world. Notable alumni and affiliates include 4 founding fathers of the United States, 4 United States presidents, 9 justices of the Supreme Court, 97 Pulitzer Prize winners, 93 Nobel Prize winners, and at least 20 Academy Award winners. More recent political figures educated at Columbia include U.S. President Barack Obama, former U.S. Senator Mike Gravel of Alaska, current U.S. Senators Judge Gregg of New Hampshire and Frank Lautenberg of New Jersey, and Governor of New York David Paterson.